Okay, so why did I buy such a scabby, rattly Corrado VR6? Hello guys, and welcome to this Volks Wizard video. Now I don't know about you, but I think there have been far too many new shiny cars on this channel recently, but we're going to put that right today. And how? By having a closer look at this very old, very unshiny Corrado VR6. And it's not just any Corrado VR6, it's my Corrado VR6. I've just bought this car with a view to keeping it forever. But it would have been too easy to go out and pay top money for a really good example. I probably bought one of the worst ones I could have bought. Some people would probably fairly call this Corrado VR6 a pile of... But there is a good reason why I bought a box Corrado. And in this video, I want to explain to you what that is. So let's get going and see how bad this Corrado really is. Okay, before we get ripping this car to shreds, let me just say the owner, Alan, was a true gent and pointed out all this car's shortcomings. He originally advertised it on Instagram and tried to put me off then. He thought my account had been hacked because I continued to show an interest in the car, but there is a good reason for that. Partly it is because I've known Alan for a very long time and I knew that whilst it had a lot of major problems, it would be an underlyingly decent car. So it'd be pretty solid and all the important like MOT stuff would have been taken care of. Alan went to Stealth Racing for maintenance on this car and they are the experts. So yeah, that was pretty good. That doesn't mean there isn't 5 figures worth of work to do to the cars. Let's start off then by talking about the paint, because paintwork's never cheap to sort out. So superficially, it's okay, particularly on this side, but when you look closely, there's some really horrible stuff in this quarter panel here. Actually, yeah, down here, it's okay. Oh, there's a horrible blow-in line across. That's not good. There is micro blistering on the roof. It's actually raining now, but it gives you the same sort of effect. So that's all there when it's dry, and it's actually cracking here. So you can see all these lines. That's the paint cracking. That's pretty nasty. This door is okay until you open it, and you see the horrible bit of rust there. So this caused a lot of people in the body shop to suck their teeth because it's where the door skin meets the door frame, and it's a very hard place to repair. Alan's put wax on it to slow it down, but yeah, needs to be done, so that door's no good. The wing's not bad, but it's got something here and a bit of rust there and a nice dent there. That bumper's scuffed. The bonnet actually, considering this is the panel that gets the most abuse normally with chips, is actually really good. The leading edge on these cars is pretty much flat. There is some funny stuff going on there though. So yeah, bumper, all the lights are good as well, that's important. Dent there, oh, nasty gouge there, rust there, rust here, even the mirror. And it's got eczema, so it's got the lacquer peeling off the base coat here. So that's pretty ugly. So yeah, that's not good. What have we got left? Tailgate? No, that's not good either. Bit of rust there. Spoiler? You might get away with that. Rear panel, it's not bad. There's a few little bits on it, and this bumper's scuffed as well, just there. So I think the only panel that doesn't need any work is the petrol flap. So yeah, yeah, that's going to get done then. So it's going to cost a fair bit of money. It's going to take a lot of time to strip it down. I'm going to take the windows out to do it properly because Corrados, they've always had like overspray down here. Amazingly, this one doesn't, but yeah, to do the job properly, you need the windows out. And there's stuff like this. I mean, where do you buy Corrado window seal from? And this trim's a bit poor as well. The window seal, the sunroof seal's no good. Sunroof, of course, does not work on this car. They were famous for the mechanisms breaking, and also you get electrical problems with the switches and motors. Luckily, a lot of stuff was interchangeable with Mark III, so if you gave me a Mark III sunroof frame, I could probably get this working using bits off it. There used to be a repair kit, but these used to go wrong, the sunroofs, when the cars were like a few years old, and then they'd scratch the sunroof panel as well, so it was a nightmare. I fixed one 20 years ago, and yeah, that was such a bad experience. I've not done one since, but I will do again. The wheels, you're asking me about those, aren't you? Well, Alan likes bronze wheels. But Alan, you don't mess around with a modern classic. These should be silver. And to make matters worse, when he had them refurbished, the original speedline caps wouldn't fit. It's got a red Corrado VR6 badge, which I'm not sure is correct because this is an M rated. Really, the only early cars, maybe an L or a K, had the red badge. I don't think this one should. So yeah, the paint is pretty bad, but I think structurally it's okay. The boot floor does look pretty good. Quarter panels look good as well. So everything. Look, that's the kind of thing you get when a car's this old. The glue's just failed on that trim panel. Down here looks like, yeah, it looks like new. It's got the data sticker there and the paint inspection sticker. It's got the spare wheel sticker. That's a good sign. Parcel shelf falling out. Maybe not such a good sign. Oh, yeah, nothing in there. Let's have a quick look under the bonnet. So that's the next thing. This car has never had a timing chain and 27 years old, and it's done 147,000 miles. It's due. And once you start doing the timing chain, well, what else do you do? The clutch. Do you do the valve stem oil seals? Do you do the head gasket? Because they're known for head gasket failures. Let's have a look under the bonnet anyway. It's going to be tricky with one hand. It's a very heavy bonnet. Even though it's got no soundproofing on it, Alan's removed all that, so that kind of gets pretty shabby. So it's probably better that it's not there. And just like a Mark 8 Golf, I'm going to put this in here. The Mark 8 Golf has got a Corrado VR6 bonnet stay. Right, down here, yeah, it's not a 24 valve engine, it's just a 12 valve engine, so it's pretty basic. They do suffer misfires from the spark plug lead, so it's probably had about 5 in its time. It's pretty solid though. Again, battery area, you know, it's all right. Scuttle, which Mark II Golfs can suffer from badly, is good, really good. The wing bolts look original. And yeah, panel gaps are actually pretty good as well. So superficially, it's got a lot of stuff needing attention, but I think the core car is good, and that's really, really important. Right, let's start up this very funny narrow angle V6. Now this is, we haven't even got a proper key. We've got this Mickey Mouse key. It's got a nice VW key fob though. It's got a Cobra category 2 immobilizer. If you're under the age of 30, you might be lucky to have never experienced these. This is what you needed in the 90s. Because cars got stolen a lot. So every time you got in the car, you had to do that. So if you've got keyless entry, you are spoilt. Although your car still gets stolen. Anyway, it actually sounds okay. I'm pretty sure I listened to it a few weeks ago and it sounded like the timing chain was really bad. But yeah, I've been in touch with the guys at Stealth, who are the experts on these cars, because if it was a 4-cylinder 8-valve engine, pretty much any garage could sort that out. But the VR6 is a very specialist engine and they charge good money for doing the work. It's about £5 to have one of these rebuilt properly by Stealth. So yeah, it's more than I paid for the car, a lot more. So it will get done, but I'm not sure how quickly. We'll drive it in a bit and we'll find out if we need to do it really quickly, because I haven't really driven it yet. So yeah, hold on for that. Before we do that, let's have a look inside. Thankfully, it's got a cloth interior and it's not actually whole, so I guess it could be worse. If it was leather, it would probably be never right unless you retrimmed it. I can feel the metal frame of the seat there, so with a bit more foam in there, that seat would probably look a bit less flaccid. Steering wheel's all right. It's got the leather rimmed one. Door card's okay. Carpets are all right. Got rubber mats in it. There's been a lot of rain and it's stayed dry in here. That's pretty good. It doesn't smell damp or anything like that, so that's quite good. It's got a bit of a nasty modern stereo. They came with Sony's originally. And compact disc player in the glove box. With no cartridge. Great. Oh, we have the original book pack there. It's got a fully stamped service book, which is another thing that was quite good about it, because you can never fix service history. Well, you can fix other stuff, so it was good that that's all up to date, and it does confirm the mileage, which is 147482. which isn't low, but it's not ridiculously high either. As the leather's a bit worn out, it's probably going to be quite hard to sort out. That's not water, that's some sort of oiliness, I think. Carpet's not bad. And speedline caps for the wheels, which are quite hard to get. As with Corrados, you always find a bit of trim lying around. That goes on there somewhere. Yeah, it could be a lot worse. And there is one saving grace to this car, that it doesn't have a fault that a lot of them do have. Let me just demonstrate. Watch that light. Hooray! The ABS light comes on and goes off and stays off. Yeah, it's a really common problem with these, so that's one thing I don't have to worry about. Does the spoiler work? Well, that's the button for it there. I'll press it and you look out there. Yay! Oh, the spoiler works as well, so that's good. I do remember someone telling me many years ago they went to see a Corrado and it wasn't working, and the salesman said, "Oh yeah, you only get that on Corrado VR6s, mate." it was faulty. They all have it. Just look at those clocks though. They're very basic, just white on black, but compared to a Mark II Golf, this looks like being in a space shuttle, because you've got these 3 gauges and you've got Corrado on there as well. So yeah, it's all coming back to me now. Right, well, clearly there's a lot of work to do from what you've seen already. Should we go and drive it and see if there's even more work to do once we've driven it? Okay, well, we're finally driving my Corrado VR6 for the first time, and first impressions that it drives reasonably normally. The reason I like Corrado VR6s is that they're a classic now, for sure. I mean, 27 years old, some of them are over 30 years old, but they don't drive like an old car. So you can drive them hard and you know the brakes are going to work, and it feels pretty up together. What's a bit disappointing is that even on little bumps in what's a relatively soft car, there are lots and lots of rattles. It's almost like every trim panel has been taken off and put back with half the clips missing. Yeah, here it's rattling, I can hear it rattling in the back. The kind of thing that would drive you mad, and it's really, really hard to sort out rattles. So that's probably one of the biggest jobs for the future. Now, these cars do drive really nicely and naturally. So we've got power steering, unlike say an early Mark II Golf, and it just feels like a modern car in that respect. The brakes are pretty good when they're working properly, and like I said, Alan kept on top of this sort of stuff. So if we brake now, it's good, and it's got ABS that works as well, though we didn't even engage it because the roads are dry and we've got reasonably good tyres. The clutch feels moderately heavy, doesn't feel overly heavy. It's got a little bit of judder when you take off from stationary. That's no big deal, because if you did the timing chains, you'd do the clutch anyway. The shift though is unusually nice. It's got a very long throw, as is customary for older cars, but it's actually really precise. It's a very early cable change box in the Corrado VR6, which is what we have today in the modern cars. And yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody's fiddled with this before, because it just feels too good. And then we have the noise. Well, Alan fitted, just before he sold it to me, a Jetex exhaust system, stainless steel, really good quality. It's not loud or boomy, but it does give this car a bit more character, and that's great because they sound great as standard anyway. So if I pop it into second now, which it likes to do, and oh Christ, I mean, we've lost a lot with modern cars. I mean, fake sound in a Golf R, I mean, come on. This is what we want. So yeah, it drives well, it sounds good. The only problem is that at any point the timing chain could fail and I could be looking at not just a rebuild but a new engine. So that's definitely something to think about when I'm revving it out. But you know, the potential is most definitely there. Okay, so why did I buy such a scabby, rattly Corrado VR6? Well, as you probably guessed, it was cheap. It was just £3,500. That's how much the owner, Alan, wanted for it when he advertised it on Instagram. I wasn't even quick to reply to his advert, but because we live close by, it was pretty quick once I made contact for me to see the car. To put that into perspective, a good up-together Corrado VR6 with somewhere between 100 and 150,000 miles would be about £10,000. And I bet you it would still need stuff doing to it. So say it had all original paintwork, well, it's bound to be quite chippy at that kind of mileage, so you need to get paintwork done to it. It might be pretty good under the bonnet, but if it's never had timing chains like a lot of them haven't, it would need them quite soon. I couldn't live with a car like this knowing the timing chain could fail at any time and scrap the engine, so I'd have to get that done as well. So with a bit of man maths, I reckon for £10,000 in total, so £6.5 worth of work, I can get this car as good, if not better, than anything I could have bought for £10,000. I'm going to have to put a bit of my own time into it as well, so I'm not going to take it to the body shop like this. I'm going to strip bits off it, take loads of time and care not to damage anything, and give them pretty much a bare Corrado where they just have to worry about prepping and painting. The paint, I can't really do that with the engine. It's going to have to go to stealth. I'm going to have to pay big money to those guys, but I think it would be worth it in the end just to have this car exactly how I want it to be. Now, as you can see, it's a bit of a blank canvas now. So if you've got any ideas for this car, I don't mean turbo and supercharging it. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep it as original as possible, but OEM plus, so we can improve things. 27 years is a long time in the automotive world, so some things have improved, like suspension, tyres, brakes. Why not take advantage of that? Effectively resto mod this car. So if you've got any ideas, comments, I will read them all. Before I sign off, I just want to remind you guys, Volkswizard is primarily a used car dealership specialising in interesting VW Group vehicles. So if you've got anything to sell, get in touch with me. I'll come and see the car, pay you a fair price for it, and give you a completely hassle-free sale. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this Volkswizard video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please do comments, and please do share. And as ever, please do subscribe. Subscriptions are the lifeblood of this channel. And I'll see you for the next one soon.